welcome people of the World Wide Web. So this is Chris from Cypher Sigma Screen Time. It is the weekend and it is another movie review. So this is the new Jason Statham movie, Shelter. Anybody who doesn't know it, I've vaguely seen the trailer. The trailer doesn't give too much away. Essentially, Jason Statham's character is some recluse. He lives on a island in a lighthouse. He has delivered food, but then basically, for one reason or another from the trailer, essentially he is discovered and the government are after him, and you kind of don't know why. And Jason Statham does Jason Statham things to the end conclusion. There's a lot of other elements in there that aren't really too. There is a young girl in there, and I will explain more in the spoiler review where and what and why and stuff like this, even though it isn't fully clear. There isn't anything after the trailers. It essentially finishes at the movie. It is a 15 rated in the UK and it is an hour and 47 minutes long. And yeah, I'm on the fence very much for this movie, but anyway, spoiler warning is up and we shall get into it. So as I said, the movie starts, you have Jason Statham as a character called Mason. You don't get to learn his name quite right. And then there is an uncle and a young little girl played by Bodhi Ray Brother Hatch. She plays Jessie. Every week they go and deliver a package to his little boathouse, which is at the bottom of the lighthouse. And she leaves him a present in the first week. The second week she goes back. She goes to his door. In between this, there's a massive storm. Her uncle's boat capsizes. Her boat, as she's going out to it, capsizes. He ends up going out, manages to save her, but her uncle dies. She hurts her leg, and essentially she is then stuck in his house. He tries to look after her and start mending, so get back together. She's like, oh, my family will come. He's like, no, I know your family and everything else, blah, blah, blah. You have no one. So then time goes slowly on. Her ankle unfortunately gets worse and he needs drugs. He doesn't have this, so he has to go to the mainlands. When he goes to the mainlands, obviously he tries to avoid cameras, but because of cell phones, everything, they pick up his image. This flags up to this MI6 department. Essentially, there is a device called Fear that's been created that you get to see in the beginning that Bill Nighy's team have basically created that spots facial recognition, and basically it points out people that could be linked to terrorism, stuff like this, and then this machine flags them up and then they go apprehend them or stop that person, and then it stops potential threats. Essentially, that is what it's for. Bill Nighy is kind of was leading it. Basically, due to the Prime Minister's actions, he becomes a secret operative and is retired. And Roberta, who is Naomi Aki, she takes off. She's the second in command, and she ends up running the department, but obviously Bill Nighy is working behind the scenes. That's where it, and that's Bill Nighy is kind of representing for the government, trying to find it. As obviously Jason Statham characters go back and starts looking after this girl, Jessie, with the drugs. Unfortunately, a SWAT team come to his island to get him, and this is where there is a kind of a shootout. The dog gets killed, which is called Jack. Very upset. Don't like dogs getting killed in movies, even if it is fake. And him and Jessie are on the run. And basically, with the time that Jessie has spent there, they've kind of created this bond. And then basically, as Roberta is going over there and stuff is happening, you find that Bill Nighy's character essentially has a covert operative team that used to basically take people out. Jason Statham was the was the perfect assassin until he basically got to one assignment and decided he didn't want to kill the person, and then basically was declared MIA, and his friends made him disappear. But what Bill Nighy did is put his face back into the system for Fear, and put it as a kind of terrorist from the third world, and that's why he then gets flagged up. When Roberta's character that takes over the department starts to realise Statham isn't Statham, her analyst starts looking into it, and then this is when they find out that obviously who he really is, a lot of it's redacted, and her former boss is obviously linked into all of this and screwing him over. Also, Bill Nighy's character brings in a character called Workman, who's kind of the current version of what Jason Statham used to be, to hunt them down, and obviously they're all after the girl as well. You don't get to find out anything about this girl. She has an uncle, died, her mum died. There is nothing else. They kind of say there's stuff going on. It never happens. It essentially comes down to Jason Statham getting her out of the country. Basically on the proviso that this kind of drug lord gangster gets her out, that he finishes the business that he started, and it's basically he has to go and kill Bill Nye's character, which he does very easy. And then at the very end, Jesse is sitting in this cafe with Roberta's team, all watching him because they want Jason Statham's character. And then he leaves a little clue for her and then disappears. The end. What did I think? I say I'm going to rate this 5 out of 10, very average. It's a very slow-paced movie. The director obviously did Greenland 2, and Angels Fallen, which I really enjoyed. This is a far slower-paced movie. There are a lot of stuff that you, as I say, you don't really know much about Mason or his character. You find out little bits about him, but he doesn't have that great of a connection to this young girl, even though I suppose they are forming a little bit of a bond. I think he has more of a bond to the dog than her. Personal preference. He does over time, but then kind of sends her off. There's a lot of kind of, oh, this girl, you've got to find her, or blah, blah, blah. Maybe she's a witness, or maybe she's something more than that, but there isn't. She's just some random girl that her uncle was helping him out because he used to serve with Jason Statham. He finds a mate who's then got cancer, who's then, and you've got this workman who's a really poor assassin, as I say. And then, yeah, basically Statham kills more or less everyone, gets the girl out the thing, and then they're like, well, you need to go after Bill Nye's character. Essentially, the next minute later, Bill Nye looks at his window, all his guards are dead, he comes in and shoots him. It's Jason Statham doing Jason Statham, but it just seems a little bit like poorly acted, like there could be more, like the girl could have been something more, or you could have had more time with them to forming a bond and having a few other bits going on. And also one thing, separate side of how I rate this movie, something I really wanted to know and I thought was a really great idea, I don't know. In this, he teaches the girl a few things about guns and knives. He tells her how to hold the knife, and he holds it. And I was like, you have silly things. Like, I think I would really love to see a more modern day action movie with Jason Statham where, like this, he finds a girl and basically he learns to protect. But I think it'd be really hilarious. And if there's a film out there, please do recommend it in the comments below, because this is what I want. If, like, the person who he's trying to protect ends up like shooting the person, but this is what I'm finding. He tells her to hold it, like, I holds a knife and stuff like this, and it'd be really good if she's like, okay, right, I'll do this and do that, and then later in the movie she's doing that, he comes around the corner and she like, cuts his arm, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? Then like he gives her a gun later and says, like, hold this, watch it, it's a trigger finger, and she shoots him by mistake, and in first, and I think that would be a really funny dynamic of having to protect somebody, but that someone's such a nightmare that they keep injuring the person they're trying to protect. Just a funny thought out there. If it becomes a movie, then I'm and it's very funny, then who knows? But yeah, that's just a side thought there. That's what I had in my thought yesterday. Not the greatest movie, not the greatest of Jason Statham movies. I said there was even one point I looked at my watch and it had only been an hour, and because it's slow paced, and I felt just boring. I said, yeah, but that has been my review of Shelter. What are your thoughts and opinions? If you've seen this movie, let them know down in the comment below so we can carry on this discussion. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.